time, they will be the deadliest of enemies. But we're going into the match restart for Blood Covenant. It's currently going to be 1 round up for Team Liquid. Unfortunately, due to, I believe it might have been like a disconnect or a pause, whatever it was, it has been sorted out. And even though, of course, it's 0-0 on the scoreline, rest assured, it is going to be 1-0 for Team Liquid. Wow. Now, here comes the spawn. Of course, that's why Griffin's able to pop his berserk. He's going to go in there and try and throw some hands. Rapha caught in that jump pad. Nothing he's going to be able to do to get around DaHanG. A little bit healthy, definitely healthy enough, I think, to drop off the soul, which he has been able to do. Sane has been able to take him out, but they're going to trade it 1-for-1. When the soul gets dropped off, that trade's going to be all Team Liquid's favor. Yes,
and unfortunately for MO, they have all been eliminated, so they should be falling back to this quad now, which they have a good position for, but Liquid are pressuring it heavily.
Now, we're not going to see elements of Scale Bearer just yet because, of course, he didn't have his ball rush available. Rapha forced to use it a little bit earlier, which that's going to be one of those little elements, isn't it? Where if there are going to be abilities that make a real difference on an item location, be it soul, be it power up, if you're able to almost force it out first so they don't have that tool next time, it's going to be so much easier for you to control that item.
Yeah, obviously, but the most important thing is to secure that first soul. The quad is good. The quad can be very powerful, as we see here, Sane doing a great job, but obtaining that first soul is key because, as you can see, Liquid are mounting nearly 20%.
In a small space of time, you can see at MO, they have been able to somewhat even things out, but now there is no quad. So we'll see how they can do. whaz, he's definitely not strong enough here. I think he's probably going to try and either get some health, bang out there and heal up, or try and take the soul and disrupt and throw it to someone else. Looks like right now he's trying to cause a little bit of chaos.
No, but Emma doing a great job managing this high ground. That's where they want to be. That's where we want to have their positions. They can obviously defend from the pillars. They can see all angles with everyone coming in. And if anyone ever gets on the point, just drop on it like they do here and clean up. But this time it's DaHanG that drops it with the punch coming in from behind.
So that was both him appearing behind and then when he got that on Scale Bearer and just caused that blue, disgusting explosion. That was pretty tasty.
I think Berserk just cleaned up all of Liquid. So, powerful ability.
That really is a testament to Doomslayer in this game mode. I mean, like, the Berserk is good in most cases anyway, for sure. But in this mode, where he's able to punch as fast as physically possible, the lock-on means you're unlikely to miss. It's guaranteed damage no matter what weapon you have access to. If you've got, like, a starter shotgun as well, even if you've just spawned, you are a dangerous target with the Berserk available.
MO, though, do manage to get the throw, but there is nobody there. So it's going to be, once again, falling back, trying to pick up that protection. 10 seconds to go. And by looking at the X-ray, Liquid are not yet set up either, unless the Scale Bearer is in below.
When the toss took place underneath, there was no one there. I think it's because they were all right here, though. They're trying to pile in, they're trying to control it, and almost looks like Liquid were conceding it. I feel like have Liquid favored defending their obelisk? Would they like to get a little bit more percentage and maybe deal with the threat of the power-up instead, like we saw on Lockbox? I guess it's a possibility.
Yeah, but that was some rather poor play from Liquid. Not only did they not set up for the power-up, they also allowed one of MO to get in and steal away their soul as well. They do manage to get it back, but it's still a good sign, well, a bad sign of coordination.
And unfortunately, they weren't even able to return the favor. venOm was able to use the power-up he was able to seize, and then that's it. Just to stand in the way, get that one frag.
That hurts. When you get it all the way back to your base, if you don't cap it, that really hurts, because even if you cap it and it gets restolen, you still get that few extra percent ticking up, and every little counts in this game mode, as we've seen.
With the amount of 99% rounds we've seen, I mean, like, even the smallest bit of time wasting or the smallest mistake that wastes a percentage, it will matter by the end of a round.
So it's just whatever is do or die, you have to get it onto your point, and it was just awesome play by Liquid preventing that.
Griffin trying to go in for the gauntlet, but a bit too far away. It's going to allow a couple of really unchallenged rockets, and here comes that locked-in defense that Liquid have been doing so well. Now, MO, they've had a hard time seizing it before, and there's been chunks of potential going down. That was a lovely mid-air, I have to say.
I would put that down to fortune.
It was... But I guess at this level, let's just fire a rocket down. There's a Doomslayer going to double jump into it. Why not? But at this stage, as I was saying, MO in the previous round, there was almost like a good 60% they weren't able to answer back for. Seeing as this is match point for Team Liquid, you really can't allow that to happen for a second time.
No, and it looks like it has. 60% now, still 15 seconds to the quad. And DaHanG has just done so much work standing under that bridge. Finally gets taken out.
Yeah, Sane kind of slipped in there. Really nice placement on the back left. Noticing that there was no one really there, maybe I can go in there as Anarchy, get a little bit of mobility on deck, and it actually allowed them to cap. And that was a really good play from Sane, but oh, there goes rapha.
Nice kill.
Yep, tactical suicide as
Anarchy, one of the better champions for it, although the pummel coming around the corner is very nice, but DaHanG still picks up the soul and the quad and has some awesome shotgun work going on there. Should be able to prevent him capping it.
To be honest, it took him a couple of extra shots that I think he was comfortable with there. Griffin was able to get a huge chunk of damage, but unfortunately it was not enough to answer to that threat of quad. You know, we're verging on this 70% territory now. Things are getting really scary for MO. They need to make something happen, and they are starting to run out of time.
They really are, and it looks like they're going in 1s and 2s now, which is not what you want to see, because Liquid are just defending this bridge position so exceptionally well.
You know, Griffin was in there with Doomslayer. He was going and swinging, but it looked like he wasn't landing any punches at all. You don't really see that every day. He was getting the lock-ons, but he just wasn't able to get the damage out there, and it just... That's going to be gone for 50 seconds. And at this level of play, if it's gone for 50 seconds, there may as well be no more berserk for the rest of this round.
Yeah, and with no power-up either for a minute, there is no hope except for piling the bodies onto the point and just hoping you can connect with some shots.
Okay, so they've coordinated, they have stolen it away, but another return pass, almost like a game of volleyball we're seeing right now. But we've gone past the 90% point. Only 8% lies between MO moving on in a round and being out, you know, being straight up eliminated.
They just have to cap this. There is no other way to say it. And he's managed to throw it to an enemy.
Oh no, DaHanG saying thank you very much for that, good sir. I will happily take that soul off your hands. rapha trying to double back instead. Actually, wonder why he didn't commit to that ball rush.
What are you still not able to cap it, but the berserk comes through and they do manage to settle for now.
Now, if you're MO, your heart will be racing at 1,000 miles an hour. This is the moment, but they're not even able to get a defense. whaz comes flying in, and this could be the moment. They're going to try and head him off. They're going to try and beat him to the punch, but they weren't waiting there at all. He's got an uncontested. What is going on? Oh no, I think they've gone for the power-up. I don't think that was the right idea.
winz managed to pick up the power-up, but where are MO? They managed to steal it away. This is the last chance.
But Liquid have the power-up. It's like they tried to make a last-minute decision to go in and go, let's get the power-up first. They went towards the bridge, and then when they changed their mind, the power-up was already in Team Liquid's favor.
I think there was just a missed call there.
It must have been.
They didn't realize where whaz was going, because going up that bridge was just a complete wrong play.
Yeah, maybe someone called that was the direction he was running away. Hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt them. Liquid only have 1% more. That's basically, we drop it off, we win.
More or less, but still...
Oh dear.
The soul is out in play.
Oh, rapha will lead the way.
Through.
He does get head off. venOm, perfect placement, but it's not going to be enough. There are plenty of more heads on Team Liquid. Oof. They're fighting for this one.
Yeah, tooth and nail. They're not going to let this one go lightly. It is the last round of this potential semi-final.
This is very dangerous territory for them. I mean, if they're able to defend, we might actually see one more power-up come into play, and that's going to be a hard decision to make, I think.
Somehow MO have continually delayed this, but whaz is on top. Have they spotted him? They do.
But forcing him away from the obelisk temporarily is going to waste a little bit of time.
MO just have to set up on bridge now. They can't afford to overcommit. They just need to stop this soul getting into Liquid's obelisk.
You know, I actually quite like how whaz was taking his time there, because he knows they're not going to pile into their own obelisk. They're going to have to try and head him off. So the risk of him being able to go there and stack up for this drop-off, it's pretty much non-existent, because they're not going to be there.
Nice. Raining down rockets from the top.
Perfect placement.
Is able to get the inject and spin away, but some big rocket from behind.
Oh, he tries to slip past, but whaz was able to beat him to the punch. venOm heading him off. Clamp soon to follow.
You can see Liquid all piling in from top. They're all there.
This is power-up territory.
It is 5 seconds till quad. And it looks like Liquid have committed for the soul. whaz is there. And here comes the scale bearer. Splash.
Yep, Griffin was able to get at least one of those fights, but rapha.
But clamp, some way, somehow, coming in.
Yeah, he's able to seize one, and he's got plenty of stack to work with.
Plenty of stack, plenty of time. He can live.
Wow.
If he plays well, he can live this quad out.
This could be it. Does get whaz as well. whaz was not really able to get a huge amount of damage on the board, so this quad, and I love Clamp's positioning. Now, he's going to sit as far back as possible. He's just going to be that snipe. He's going to sit down and do damage where now it's not going to be returned. Getting in the acid spit, let's try and maximize as much quad as possible. rapha puts a foot in. He's going to get one more frag. Clamp really is being this MVP, but is it enough?
Is it enough indeed? Still 9–10% to go. They are doing it.
Hang on. I mean, don't count these boys out. This could be the round. They only have 4% left to go. And they're racking up the frags. rapha, he comes flying in, but he gets no frags in return. If they win this fight, they win this round. winz activates the berserk. He gets one. He can't get a second. They get two more. Is this the end of the round for Modus operandi?
And MO have done it.
Oh my days, sex. Oh my word. They couldn't afford a single ounce of percentage left, and they pull this one off.
Holy moly.
Wow.
That was close. Somehow, MO kept delaying the game, making sure Liquid never able to just get that final percentage. And yes, the Soul was out in play for a good 2 or 3 minutes, but it was just enough, and they managed to pull it off.
clamp's final management of that quad damage as well was really well calculated. You know, he was in the thick of it for just long enough to get the frags on deck. The second it was reset, and now there was distance, he sat as far back as possible, and he was just making it so they have to pile in. So I'm just going to line up my heavy machine gun, and my accuracy is what's going to be important.
Many pros in the past have said the quad is not an important feature for them, and you can see there, clamp somehow getting in between two Liquid players, picking up that quad, living it out, and killing must have been 6, 7, 8, or even 9 Liquid players, single-handedly getting them that last 10%.
I mean, you know, they mentioned that, of course, you know, it's mentioned that clamp is a dangerous team player. I mean, that is case in point exactly why. Here comes the power up though, of course.
Saw lag is bay.
Now it's going to be Team Liquid and DaHanG with that quad damage. And to be honest, if there's someone with a quad damage, you don't really want it to be one of the world's greatest duelers, because if you're against that, that's quite frightening.
Yeah, Slash and Anarchy in particular are very, very strong with the quad because they can get out into the mid-level, mid-ground, do immense amount of damage from range, and they're usually pretty safe given their speed advantage over the other champions.
Now, of course, things will get quite interesting here because the obelisk has been switched around. It's going to be Liquid having to defend A instead, so you do wonder. It does make a difference in some of these games, and in the course of a map where you get into a flow, you get into how this team likes to defend this point, and if it's 2 rounds in a row, of course, it's, well, you always get more comfortable, and then when it switches round, it does demand a slightly different playstyle, you know?
Yeah, for me, this is my preference in terms of defense, because as you can see here, as we saw MO for the last minute of that game, and Liquid now, when you have that high ground control, you've got all angles covered, you can have an immense amount of spam on pillars, you have the mega health to work with, and if anyone comes in from the lower levels, yes, they can get on point, but you have the leverage in terms of the high ground. You can rain down pain upon them as MO pushing his 3 on the high ground and try to take it over. And that's exactly what you have to do. You need to push your opponent off of their key defensive positions up high and just create chaos on the point.
I kind of respected the play there for rapha. If he's going to go down, let's try. If we're at 50 HP, maybe that's basically going to become 100 HP if he has the ball rush activated. And he tried to almost optimize his movement to be charging a little bit longer, so if he eventually hits them, it's going to be like the max damage version. But didn't quite work out. Of course, it's not the end of the world. Liquid still have this very solid defense, 50% already.
But once again, MO have to have the long, long road back to recovery as they've given Liquid an immense amount of good start here.
Oh, he's still alive, but barely.
Sorlag's blocking the way with the spits. Some good work coming out from clamp, who's had a monstrous series so far.
But of course, you mentioned it, they're putting themselves in a situation where they have no choice but to make a really crazy comeback, or they have to fight back just to become even. That does take a lot out of you. They were able to pull off the almost impossible last time in that round. Unfortunately, when they're putting themselves in a situation where they have to do it again, that's a tall order for a team against someone like Liquid too. rapha with the quad damage, and of course quad being a lot more dangerous in the hands of a tanky champion that doesn't have to worry too much about stack. Yeah, and the soul is still not capped, which is obviously good for MO, and they've managed to get another 20% back, but it looks like whaz should be able to whiz through relatively uncontested. There we go. He has been able to do that, but as a 2v1, unfortunately, temporarily there's no one nearby. They're just going to try and throw the soul away, pass it on. Of course, the objective here is not the fight. The objective is to try and get the soul as far away from this guy as possible. However, the fight goes in the favor of Team Liquid. Yeah, the big bald scale bearer just blocking that alleyway, and it's not someone you want to run into in a dark alleyway. We ran out of rockets. That's a really bad time to run out of ammo. Nice play by Griffin, though. He should be able to cap this and get the throw off. He's going to have a little bit of it. Oh, he moved out too early. That's actually going to waste a lot of time. And we mentioned, you know, the matter of percentage. We just saw 99% comeback made. That wasted about a percentage's worth of obelisk, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe looking too far into it, but... Well, no, that was huge because it allowed the DaHanG to get back in off the spawn with the slash and meant that they didn't get the throw off. And it's given Liquid another 10% just because of one little mistake. Just pressing that movement key half a second too early, man. I mean, like... Well, it's the speed of the Berserk. It's something you're not really used to when you're just dodging around slowly. Oh, yeah, of course, because it puts him at pretty much his top speed of 550 straight away, of course. But 5% left. This could actually be the end of the round for Liquid. This has been a great defense for them, and MO, they've had a really hard time. This is panic stations now. Definitely. Once again, the soul is out, but it's not enough as Liquid are able to recap it.
Can they, though?
I mean, this is that point where you have to pile in as many bodies as possible, and unfortunately, it makes your advance predictable because you have no choice but to do that exact same thing. They get a couple of frags, but it's swiftly returned by Liquid.
It's going to be over. This is the last person alive with Griffin in the Berserk. Can he get the throw?
Oh, no, they trade, and I feel like that trade might be all she wrote.
And...
no, they come in. Wait a minute. I mean, all right, look, it would be very easy to say this is going to be a wrap for Team Liquid, and in that case, actually, it might in fact be a wrap for Team Liquid.
Yeah. Well played, Team Liquid. Well, not yet.
I mean, like, is that enough time? They're wasting time. He tries to go in for the body block, and they're able to seal the deal. Team Liquid, after a very hard-fought sequence of rounds, they are able to move on against Modus operandi. I mean, it was a bit chaotic at the end there, but I mean, like, really, in that situation, you almost have no choice but to just, you know, fall victim to the chaos. There's got to be one at a time. We have no time to pile in together. You've just got to try and delay it being taken as much as possible. Yes, it's predictable. Yes, they know exactly what we have to do here, but there's no other option.
And huge respect to MO. So what a game it was, and many people thought it'd be just another day at the office for Liquid, but they had to put in a real hard shift to overcome MO in that series, because every game, every round went pretty much to the wire, all bar the last one, and that was just MO, really, putting up a good show.
That was some of the, to be honest with you, I think that's some of the best sacrifice I think I've seen these guys play when it comes to Modus operandi. You know, like we saw them looking really dominant in the qualification process. They definitely looked like, you know, these guys, of course, they've deserved their place in DreamHack Winter. You know, they didn't have the best of roads going into Denver, you know, where they were in a situation where unfortunately they just sort of fell to Unlovables, who of course, you know, shouts to Unlovables doing well in Denver as well. And NA Quake looking really strong. You know, especially with how dominant MO were looking going into this tournament. They've been playing even better in this tournament. They got really far, and they took it to Team Liquid. You know, our latest champions. They took it to our latest champion.
And Liquid's key methodological style was really upset by the aggression that came out for MO. So going into the next round, good to see Liquid in the final, but it's going to be a hard road if they're going to win it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, there's a bit of a rocky start in Lockbox, but we're going to be moving on in due time. We're going to throw you guys back over to the panel to break down what we just saw.
Barely controlled chaos indeed. Thank you, Ketchup. Thank you, DDK, ZSX. Yeah. They're wearing like button-up shirts today. I can't tell the difference between them anymore. But what a match. That was insanity.
Yeah, that was actually quite close. We're wrong on the 2-1s, but you were absolutely hit the nail on the head because they were very, very close rounds. Apart from the last one, I guess you could say, a round was taken by Modus operandi, but yeah, Team Liquid reigning supreme here.
Yeah, one of the things early on, especially in the first round on Lockbox, I thought MO did a great job controlling power-ups, and it looked like they might take that first round, but Liquid made a nice charge and came back and somehow regrouped and got it going from there, and it was very close, even, and again on Blood Covenant, and I think it was the first round. It was like 90, low 90s to 80 something, and it was that last power up that was coming up, that protection. You know, we're saying that who's going to get this power up? I mean, whoever got it wins that round likely, and if MO wins that round, they probably take the map. You know, it was that close. But you got to hand it to MO. The way they fought back in round 2 was just really impressive. I mean, it's just they need to keep that urgency all the time, because it just seemed like when their backs were against the wall, they were just really shining.
I was really surprised on the round that they actually won in the end, because Yenna made a, you know, I don't want to just point out negative things, but he made a critical error when he had the protection. He just couldn't keep himself close enough to the soul carrier at the time. He ended up dropping to a lower level when his teammate, he was on mid-level, his teammate was on the high level, and he dropped down even further, and the distance was so far away, he wasted over 20 seconds of the protection, got the soul back, but could only get halfway to the return to base before things got overrun once again. So it was so impressive to see clampOK just doing the damage to win that round.